the zero's gone, and this is what lies in its wake. A 2006 V-Rod Street Rod, and it is crazy. Relatively loud, probably louder than the SB. Hopefully it can be heard and everything, or I can be heard over it, but ooh, alright, dusty. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to work here, and I'm just gonna go over why I chose this, what happened to the Zero, and all that junk. First things first, this clutch lets out really late, so don't be surprised if I stall it. Alright. With the Zero, it just wasn't entirely practical for my wants, or my needs really. Stupid helmet. And I don't like having a full-on vehicle of mine basically being dedicated to bicycle duty for around town. Yeah, you know, practicality, although motorcycles already are kind of more of a toy or gimmick, it's even worse when you're limited. For example, like Surons, you know, they're great toys, but for $5,000 you can get a full-on motorcycle, and that's why I've never gotten a Suron, at least yet. That's kind of the main reason. But why a V-Rod? Why a Harley? Why any of this? Well, because I don't like cruisers, is what I was trying to say. But I like the idea of muscle cruisers because, well, that's where all the fun's at. You know, compared to just a normal Harley, which, although it has a bunch of torque and everything, isn't quite what this has to offer. So yeah, I saw this on the dealer's website, checked it out, was a decent price, inquired about the trade-in value of the Zero, and lo and behold, they actually turned around and had to pay me like $28 once everything was said and done, signed off. And at that point, yeah, I could have still turned around and sold the Zero for more, but I mean, there's also like the convenience factor of just being able to say, here's the bike, transfer the plates, make it so I can ride right away, especially with this week being so nice. It was more or less I sacrificed some of the earnings that I would have had from the Zero and turned it into convenience, which, you know, it's kind of up to you whether that's something you want to do. But, you know, it is what it is. As for what I think of the V-Rod so far, because I've already ridden it about, I don't know, 50-ish miles maybe. It's intense for sure. This is my first like cruiser, I guess. And again, this is like, you know, a whole nother beast compared to your baggers or dressers or, you know, anything like that. It still has me leaned a little forward. My knees are bent because this is the street rod, like I said. I guess that's going to be one thing, is this is a pretty smooth engine. I mean, I'd say I hesitate to say, mostly because I think I would have to ride them back to back, but smoother than my SV. Maybe. There's a little bit of a buzz, but, you know, that is what it is. And I've never ridden a real Harley before. This one is obviously the Harley that they exported the engine design and manufacturing to Porsche. Well, I don't know if it was manufacturing, but at least design. It was over to Porsche. So this is a liquid cool V-twin. But yeah, so there's not a whole lot of potato going on here compared to, you know, like a Sportster or whatever. Another strange thing about this bike is 5 gears. I think I'm in 5th right now, but yeah. So 5 gears compared to, you know, kind of the standard 6 that most bikes have. So obviously I gotta get a little bit more seat time, get a little bit more comfortable. I'm really getting used to the, you know, heavier weight, especially at lower speeds, like or even takeoff, because I know this has so much power. I'm hesitant to just like treat it like my SV, in which I can kind of slip the clutch and just kind of roll off. This, I feel like you have to be a little bit more deliberate. One, because it's a heavier clutch. Two, because again, like I said, the actuation or the release on the lever is so much further out. Like normally my SV, I can 2-finger or even 1-finger the clutch. Ooh, a whole lot of bumps. You know, and that's like about halfway. I can kind of like feather it. This way, or this one, it's like pretty close to, I'd say 7/8 of the way out. It like really wants to like let go. It starts to bite a little sooner than that, but yeah, again, I gotta like kind of get used to it. This is also a hydraulic clutch, which I'm sure is different feeling. I don't know if the actual like actuation is really a factor, but at least the feeling might be a bit off. But regardless. But yeah, so I got this at the dealer, like I said, and that was my first time being in a Harley dealer, let alone buying something from a Harley dealer. And on one hand, it is the stereotypical Harley experience. You know, they ask you, hey, can I get you something to drink, water, soda, beer? I literally heard that over my shoulder at one point. You know, they got the dad rock playing. At one point, I think AC/DC came on the radio and they cranked the volume on it, which, I mean, I like classic rock and all that. I just think it's a little funny in that it's exactly what everybody kind of pictures in their head. But I mean, that's their image. That's what they have to do, really. What surprised me was basically the tour, at the end of the day, was to like possibly sell you on something, but they didn't like push me. I had more push towards extra packages and stuff of my car when I bought that. This, they didn't like push me on it. Even when it came to the bike itself and like the theft protection thing, they, you know, went over what it does, how it works, and all that. And when I said no, he's like, okay. He didn't like keep saying, are you sure, are you sure, are you sure, are you sure, like the dealership did when I bought my car, which was kind of a breath of fresh air. Because again, I think Harley, and they're getting away from this, but Harley is getting into like a toxic mentality, or at least to the consumer. But I mean, if that's how every Harley dealership handles every interaction, I think that's a pretty cool thing. It's going to be a learning experience and everything, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with my purchase, and I'm actually pretty satisfied with the dealer experience as well, which again is cool. I'll have to make a video later on the V-Rod itself, you know, maybe once I get some seat time, maybe like a 1 month update or something, because I'm already noticing stuff that I maybe heard different when I was watching reviews. Let's see how I can get to 40 to 60. So that was that felt like a roided up SV650. There was, you know, a lull in power, but as soon as the RPMs got up, it really started to just like yank me back. And that was like in fourth gear. Yeah, I'm 90% sure that was fourth gear. Most because again, only 5-speed. So that wasn't even like, you know, second or third, in which you're really gonna be getting on tap power when you need it. But yeah, so otherwise I'm just heading to work now. Now it's a case of I gotta choose between the SV and the V-Rod here, which bike I take to work. It'll probably turn out to whoever has more gas. But oh, and another thing is one of the reasons why I got a V-Rod is because I wanted a more long-range bike, because this is, you know, more upright than the SV. Maybe it's not nearly as much as the Zero, but it's much more than the SV. And I feel like that can actually get me to further places more comfortably. But that's just kind of like a side point. So otherwise, yeah, I just wanted to pop out a quick ramblings about where the Zero went and V-Rod and why. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.